Hi, my name is Brad Rosley. Thanks for tuning in again today. Before we get started, I want to remind everybody that my mission is to help you become more financially and life successful. I'm a certified financial planner. I've been in business now for over 25 years. You can look me up at Fortune Financial Group. I'm a sole practitioner, and it's part of my life's mission is to help as many people as I possibly can with their finances. I'm located outside of Chicago, and by doing this YouTube channel, I'm hoping that I can help people all over the U.S. and all over the world. So thanks a lot for tuning in again today. Please subscribe to my channel, as there are videos on a huge array of topics, from saving, investing, budgeting, retirement plans, and a special emphasis on tax advantage investing. So please go ahead and subscribe if that interests you at all. Today, our topic is going to have to do with IRAs. This morning on television, I was watching, and a commentator made a very interesting point from a recent study. The study said that 4 out of 10 Americans would have to borrow money if they had a $1,000 emergency creep up. And that just blew me away. I've seen these kind of statistics before, but oftentimes they're not front of mind. Well, it jumps out at me at today's topic. Today's topic is, will you have to pay a penalty if you take out a distribution from your IRA? Behind me is a flow chart, a what-if flow chart, that describes if you have to pay a 10% penalty or not. The penalty that we're referring to is always 10%, number one. So as my flow chart starts off, the first question it asks is, were your contributions to the IRA tax deductible, or were they post-tax contributions? If the answer is yes, they were but the answer is yes, they were post-tax or non-deductible contributions, then if you take money out of that same IRA account on a pro rata basis, you will not have to pay a 10% penalty on the portion of your distribution that was with non-tax money. Non-deductible money. The non-deductible money, you're not subject to the 10% tax, and because you've already paid tax on that money, you will not have to pay tax on that portion of your distribution. You will owe tax on the growth of that money and any money that you've not paid the tax on. Now, what if you did take money out of an IRA that was all pre-tax contributions? Well, if you've reached the age 59 and a half, that's the biggest, most well-known way to take money out of your IRA is to wait until you're 59 and a half and then pull it out. So you can pull out all your money at 59 and a half and not pay any 10% penalty to the IRS. However, you will owe income tax on that money. It's ordinary income. So you add it on to your income taxes. So if you made $20,000 and you took another $20,000 out of your IRA, your taxable income is going to be $40,000 at the top line, and then you work down with your deductions after that. What if you're not 59 and a half? What are the exceptions? How else can you take your money out of your IRA and not have to pay the 10% penalty? So I'm going to go through a few of these right now. At the end, the last two are, I think, the most realistically needed for people. And the last one was just newly approved, the new tax law, at the end of 2019. So stick around. So if you have lost your job and you have to pay medical insurance premiums, that is one of the exclusions. You do not have to pay the 10% penalty on your withdrawal if you lost your job and need to pay medical insurance premiums. The next one is, what happens if you have higher education expenses? That's something you can use your IRA money for. Now, most people would go to college and then make money and fund an IRA, so that wouldn't really be applicable. But maybe you're going back to school. Maybe you're going to graduate school several years after you finish college and you have money set aside in an IRA. Well, that's a perfect source of money. Not my first choice, but it's something that's there if you have it that you can use to pay for higher education expenses. The next one is, in my mind, the most secretive of all and potentially the most impactful. I say that because it says, is the distribution part of substantially equal payments? There is a section in the IRS tax code most people don't know about. It's called Section 72T. Look it up. Substantially equal payments, there's two things that have to happen. So let's and what they are, you have to take the payments out of your IRA for the longer of 5 years or until you're age 59 and a half. There's that magic number again. So I'll give you an example. Let's assume you're 57 years old, you've lost your job unfortunately, you got downsized, whatever happened. You need money. You may have a huge IRA balance that you can pull from. Well, if you didn't know any better, you would just start taking money from there and have to be stuck with not just the tax, but also a 10% penalty until you're 59 and a half. But if you use Rule 72T, which is distribution part of substantially equal payments, and take it for 5 years. You need to go 5 years if you're 57 because it's the longer of 5 years or age 59 and a half. So you go the 5 years, you take an equal distribution each of those years, you avoid 10% penalty. Well, heck, if you're taking out 40 grand a year, you're saving $4,000 a year in penalty. If you're younger, let's use an example, you're 45 and you need to pull from your IRA for whatever reason. Well, you can sign up, this is a contractual agreement with your investment company to take these substantially equal payments. You can get a monthly check, a quarterly, an annual, depends on your agreement there with your investment company. But if you're 45, you can't just do it for 5 years. You've got to go all the way to 59 and a half with these payments. And they're automated. You can't change once you do this. You're stuck. That's what you're doing. But in exchange for that, you get the 10% penalty-free withdrawal. You don't have to pay any of that 10% of the penalty. So if none of these apply, there's still a few other ones. The next one is if you have unreimbursed medical expenses, but there's a catch, they have to be over and above 7.5% of your adjusted gross income. So are they more than 7.5% above your adjusted gross income? Then you can take money out of your IRA without penalty. Are you disabled? Is the next one. If you're disabled, you get to take penalty-free withdrawals from your IRA. The last two are really fun. There's something that a lot of people may be able to use and are not aware of. Will the distribution be used for first-time home purchase for you, your spouse, your child, or your grandchild? Maybe you want to help out your son or daughter. Maybe you want to help out your grandchild. What I found is most people have the lion's share of their savings, those that do save, in retirement accounts. And when you make a withdrawal from there, as I've said earlier, you have to pay the tax. So one of the things that stops people from taking big withdrawals and making these gifts is the tax. Well, it's even worse if you have to pay tax plus 10%. But if you're using that money for a first-time home payment, or as they say here, the person cannot have owned a house for at least 2 years, and then you can make this okay, and then be fine. But that's up to 2 years. So when you do that, you can make this without having to pay that tax. Now, there's one last way that we can do this. And this is brand new, part of the Secure Act, which was passed in December of 2019. And what that says, that within 1 year of you having a baby or you adopting a child, you can use up to $5,000 out of your IRA without paying a penalty. So if you don't have any of those things I just mentioned, when you take the money out, not only do you have to add that amount withdrawn on your income, but you also have to pay a 10% IRS penalty. If you'd like a copy of this, I will gladly send you it. Email me at brad@fortunefinancialgroup.com. Also, if you have any questions about this or other things, go ahead and reply to the video. Put a note in there. I think I do a very nice job of replying to all the questions that I've gotten over the years. Because I get quite a few, and I'm happy to answer questions for you as best I can. Thanks a lot for listening today. I hope you do subscribe to my channel and that you found out some things today about IRAs that you didn't know prior. Maybe you can access that money without the penalty and you didn't know.